What's up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Full Circle. I'm your host, as always, Harmon Jr. Please feel free to find me on Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media. All of them, everything. I mean, some of them aren't as active as others, but just follow me on Twitter. I'll talk back. If you try to follow me on like Instagram or something, I might hit back because since Facebook and Instagram have merged, start doing this weird thing where like if you message me on Instagram, I get it on Facebook in like a message request, and I don't know what's going on with that. Companies confuse me. But anyway, we're back, everybody, going 3 years strong. First big show, so I got my man Joel Ramirez with me of the game Fanatics fame. Me and him have been rocking this video game things for a very long time. But Joel, just in case they don't know who you are you and what do you do?
Yo, what's up? My name is Joel. I work with the game Fanatics. I also am a co-host of the Final Checkpoint podcast. It's a podcast that I do every week with Ben Runnings, who, if you've ever seen Weird Al, then that is basically Ben. And we just talk about video game news. We talk about games that we've played. We've had Odell on there before, and we do it every week. It's out on Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, all the wonderful podcast services. We record it live on my Twitch channel. I would say if you're interested in seeing it and stuff like that, just follow me on Twitter at the Joelness. We actually just recently decided to kind of split the show in two and we're going to leave the final checkpoint portion as like news. And then we're going to do a second portion. It'll be all in the same feed as Final Boss Squad. And that's just where we talk about all the video games that we played and stuff like that. So that's starting next week.
Oh, exciting news. So everyone, please go check out that. Shout out to Ben. He's been on the show before, him and Joel at the same time. That was the first show with dual people. I've done it since then, but that was the first run. So thank you, gentlemen, for doing that. But yeah, check that out. 2 new podcasts to listen to, as y'all should. But thank you for listening to this one. And as always, people, we had our 3-year anniversary special last week, but now we're back on it. We got the guests doing all the cool stuff. And I wanted to talk about some things just to rant on. I feel like we haven't had some good, just opinionated rants. And so what we're going to rant about this week, well, we're going to be talking about Xcloud. Yes, people, Xbox streaming services that, killed things like Luna and Stadia because we're not going to talk about them. They're dead in the water. But Xcloud is here. You can play games in your browser, on your phone, on your tablet, on your smart fridge, for all I know. But before that, we're going to be talking about Ratchet and Clank. Yes, we just got a new trailer. We finally got the name of the new Lombax. Her name's Rivet. The internet lost their mind. I didn't know we were all waiting for a name drop, but apparently we were. So it's going to be the first test of next gen, people. So we're going to get into that. But before all of that, we got to talk about Nintendo, people. And I told y'all we're going to stop talking about Nintendo until they start doing something noteworthy. Well, guess what? They did something noteworthy, but in the bad way. If you didn't know, they just announced that after two or three, I don't know, after 3 years, because it makes it sound even worse, since the initial release of Mario Party 10, you can now play online with your friends, have online connectivity, and you can play this board game, which would have been awesome during the height of the pandemic, but you can do it now. They didn't add new boards, so I'm going to step back. I read the tweet wrong, Joel, this morning. I thought they were adding new game boards, over 80 mini games, and all this new stuff with online. No, it was saying they're adding online. You can just now do the things that are already there.
I saw that reaction from a lot of people. Like, wait, I thought they were adding 70 mini games. And, this is my first Mario Party, so I didn't know how bad.
Hold on, really? First Mario Party ever.
Yeah, I had a Nintendo 64 for like a very short amount of time. And then since then, I didn't have a Nintendo console until I got the Switch. Besides like a DS. And like other than that, so I didn't know how bad everyone really had it. Because I'm sitting here like an idiot, not knowing that the few game boards I had was like nothing. I'm sitting here going, well, this is fun. We had a good time with these games, and I'm here just happy-go-lucky, and like, oh, there's not really much online here, but I kind of am used to that with Nintendo, so I just kind of kept going with it, and then, like a lot of Nintendo games, I just put it away and stopped paying attention to it.
So you didn't know the days of like 10 game boards, hard mode, and like a kabillion mini games. Okay, so
I've seen like one instance of it with Giant Bomb, like an old Giant Bomb stream with Dan Reichert playing like a really long Mario Party game, and I just remember seeing a game board like that and going, man, I wish we had something like that in this one, but I don't know, maybe that just didn't work well, so maybe they changed it, and now we just got these really smaller boards that just don't last very long.
Oh man, I don't know, man. Joe, what I'm hearing is you didn't have friends growing up, and my heart goes out to you.
Yeah, there's like three that I can remember.
But I'm also I guess I'm jealous of you because you didn't burn out the palm of your hand back in the day playing Mario Party
Dude, they're
games.
so good.
Yeah.
They're so good. Yeah.
But yes, no, this was a very bare bones experience, and I think like a lot of other people, I assume, well, online connectivity exists, so they'll just add more boards or games as time goes on. Because don't quote me on this, no one, but usually the game comes with like 5 or 6 boards out the gate.
Yeah.
And then like there'll be unlockable boards, so you'll have like, let's say bare minimum 4 to 5, and then you have to beat those, and then you'll unlock like, you can see them like, some other boards, and then you have like the final Bowser board, and then like maybe like a super secret board that you'll unlock by maxing out, beating the things or whatever, and super secret characters and things like that. Like it will be its own like, and I usually have like an adventure mode. They kind of had it this, not really, but like a story mode to a sense where it's like you gotta ultimately beat Bowser and all this stuff. And this one was just like none of that. It's like they stripped it of everything good. It's like with Mario Kart 8. They included all the DLC tracks, and then they didn't really add nothing new for the Switch version, but there was enough there. There's like 64 tracks, all the characters, there's plenty to do there. But this I just don't get.
Yeah, it was I mean, and just to kind of give an example of how like much of a not experience it was, I played it with my kids and my wife. We got to the point where we unlocked the last board, because there's like maybe 2 or 3 boards, and then you unlock the 4th one, like the pyramid one or whatever.
Yeah.
And we unlocked it, and we stopped playing before we even played the new board, because we were just like, well, there's really not much here. I think we're kind of good. And nobody was excited to play again. And we came back to it later on and tried it, and it didn't really hold our attention. And I was excited to play Mario Party. Nobody else really was. And then after that, we had a lot of Joy-Con drift to deal with. So I was just kind of like, well, there goes that. So we don't really play it that much anymore.
Yeah, if it was like 4 really gigantic boards to justify there only being 4, like, okay, they're like they're boards within the board. Like you gotta play the board multiple times to even see like all the stuff the board has to offer. Then I would kind of get it. But I like what you said about the last board, because me and my friends had a similar experience. We get the last board, and it's the shortest board of the game.
Yeah,
and it's like,
pretty small.
Oh, okay. Like I get the concept, but this should have just been like just a regular board that's just like, here's a casino theme. It's not about getting space. It's about like screwing people over. So I like the concept.
Yeah.
But moving on from Mario Party though, like we're still on. Why is Nintendo still this bad online? Like, I get they want to protect the kids or whatever they say while you can't voice chat, but I feel like we reached the era of insulting, for lack of a better term, the way they're handling this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if it's just not as maybe like prevalent in Japanese culture. I don't know. I'm not like trying to assume the thing, but like, because everyone's a lot more mobile, right? And on the go. And we're here, everyone's so much more like stationary, and they're inside, they're on the couch, they're playing, like we see a lot of that with like Xbox Live, and even PlayStation has their own issues with online and the way their software is built, but like they have a better infrastructure for playing multiplayer and online services. And you get to Nintendo, and it's just like very limited, and it feels like a struggle to get anything going. Logan made a good point. He was on our last episode of Final Checkpoint. He made a point of like, trying to play Apex Legends on the Switch and being in a queue for 20 minutes with one other person. And that just came out on the Switch not that long ago, like I think this month. And it just seems like it's I mean, there are certain games where you do have a online community, like Tetris 99, Pac-Man 99 right now is kind of pretty big, but it is really weird. It just seems like there's just not a lot of movement online, and maybe it's just not a huge focus for them. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the short answer is clearly it's not. I don't want to say they don't care, but I mean, I don't see anything to prove that otherwise. And, you know, I thought about that, like, is it a Japanese culture thing? And I'm like, well, no, because fighting games are big in Japan. And, you know, those are online. And then, you know, you have games Smash Bros, Street Fighter, Blaze Blue, things of that nature, Tekken. And then, you know, you have things like Genshin Impact, was, you know, strictly online, and Final Fantasy 14, you know, online. I don't know the numbers, but Final Fantasy's big in Japan, so I assume Final Fantasy 14 online is also super big.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, I don't know. I think some companies just have a different way of thinking of online as like being important, or how people interact. Maybe they think of more people being in the same room when they're playing online, or I don't know. Or maybe having a different way of communicating, because nobody wants to plug into their app on their phone and then get online in a docked Switch or something. Like it's just too many things to worry about.
Yeah, like every time I see the Among Us trailer, at least here in the US, for Among Us, and it's like, oh yeah, it's time, come on guys, and like the little kids get like on their Nintendo app on their phone, you know, they're talking to each other and stuff. I'm like, bruh, this is just, why can't I just plug a headset into my Switch and talk to my friends?
Yeah.
Why can't okay, my thing is, okay, I wouldn't care if it was overly complicated to somehow get in a party on like, let's say it took 5 minutes just because checks, friend codes. That will still be preferable than like instantly on the app. And like also for those who haven't used the app, it's touch to talk. Like you gotta, I don't know if it's changed, but I remember when it first came out, you had to like, you know, like press down so to be heard. And I'm just like, okay, that's stupid. Like, let's say I'm playing Splatoon, right? You know, fast paced action. I like that noise the gun makes.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, but it's like I'm gonna be like, oh wait, hold on, I'm pressing the button, guys, the, and then also their ping system's so trash in Splatoon. Like people are like booyah. I'm like, what does that mean? What are you conveying to me? Like it's like booyah. I don't. These are just sounds.
Translate.
But I guess here's the only thing I could think of, and I hope to God this is the case. Literally, this is like, I wouldn't say a main prayer of mine, but it comes up occasionally. So we all know Nintendo has basically been MIA for the last 2 years, more or less. Mm-hmm. And according to Bloomberg and all this stuff, it seems to be pretty much confirmed at this point. We're getting a 4K Switch this year. Switch Pro, Super Nintendo Switch, Switch Lite, whatever, or Switch Lite Express, I don't know. We're getting a new Switch. And so my philosophy is that the reason we're not getting anything because all these resources are going towards whatever that form is going to take. And I hope to God that online is at least a semi-main focus. I'm not asking to be on par with Sony or Xbox, because let's be real, at this point you probably can't be. Or they don't care to be is the more real thing, because we all know the sales just came out. Nintendo makes money. They somehow were like number like a close second, if not first, I don't remember, in the software hardware sales, and it was like, what are they selling? I don't know, sliced bread apparently.
Yeah. I mean, they have their own niche. I mean, they have their own games, like their own IP, and then indies. I mean, that's all they really need. They don't need anything else other than, they don't need third party support really.
Yeah, I mean,
like they don't need it. They don't have it, and there's no reason for them to really chase that, because most people are going to be going either to a console for third party or their PC. And I mean, I just don't like, the Switch is really going to be that very like last resort for third party, unless like it's someone like, well, I don't want to play this really long RPG sitting at my desk or sitting on my couch. I'd rather have it on the go so I can, replay The Witcher or replay this Final Fantasy game that's 100 hours long. So that's the perfect situation for the Switch. But mostly indies and Nintendo exclusives, because that's really where they make their money, and that's probably the biggest reason why they don't put those on sale that often, because they know people are going to buy them.
Yeah, true. Would you say at this point they are ignoring their consumer fan base? Because I feel like at this point, enough people, for example, like the Smash Online community is very vocal about online connectivity. Splatoon could be better, and I'm just like, at this point, are they willfully ignoring us because they don't think it's a problem, or is it something you think they're maybe actively trying to work on?
I mean, I'm hoping they're working on a better upgraded version of their console, something that you can. I think a lot of it has to do with hopefully upgrading the dock, right? Because right now we don't have a way to just Ethernet into the dock. And I think that would be a huge upgrade if they do make a newer version of the Switch, an upgraded 4K model. That would be huge, just adding that, because Wi-Fi sucks. Like, Wi-Fi is the worst. And having to depend on that for online connectivity for a game like Smash Bros, even Mario Kart. Like, I've tried to play Mario Kart online in the past, and my wife, I live in Idaho. My internet runs on potatoes and corn. And I'm lucky enough to get a decent connection on some games, but I Ethernet into everything I can. And the Switch is the only thing I really can't. I don't have like the LAN adapter thing or anything like that for my Switch, because it's like,
that's just too much.
Yeah, and it's also like, I don't look to play online games on my Switch. So I've given up on that. So unless they really come in with something that has the Ethernet plugin already on the dock, I'm not going to go out chasing that. But I think that would be huge for people that do want to play Smash Bros. And because Nintendo does have the exclusive, like, what is it? The exclusive, like, lineup for that. Even though a lot of it is just like Mario regurgitated in 100 different ways, it's enough a lot of the time. Like, they have a lot of hitters on there, and so I think it's just a matter of them being able to make something that works for the community that really does stay with them and continues to buy their product.
Yeah, man. So hopefully we'll see. I don't want to beat a dead horse at this point, but it's kind of like that. You have the resources, money, capability to do so. So why not just do it? Because I've said this a million times. No one's asking it to be the best, but just passable. Like, something that passes. But speaking of upgrades and new things, we're getting a new Ratchet and Clank, everybody. Woo! Woo!
I love Ratchet and Clank.
Oh man, I do too. So I thought we were gonna get like some type of PS4, PS5 like re-release of all the games, some type of compilation, HD remake. We do have the HD remake of the original for PS4, but I thought we were gonna get all the games. I will say this might be a hot take, but if you play the PS4 original remake, you probably know everything you need to know about Ratchet and Clank. Like, I'm not saying don't go play the other ones, but you can get by with just playing that one, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're still really fun though. I think it's called which one is it? I think it's the second one was probably one of my favorites until I played the 2016. There's so many of them now. The names kind of like
they just kind of
are out of my head. Yeah, but it was my favorite one until I played the 2016 one, and that one's the games are just so fun. Like, I wouldn't say they're like it's not like, oh, the story's so good. It's just like it's a story.
Yeah,
it's fun.
That's why I tell people to play it, because honestly, if I'm being completely honest, if you play all of them, like if you were to play like 1, 2, and 3 back to back, whatever their various names are, they kind of just run together. Like, you kind of just feel like, oh yeah, I'm about to go shoot a bad guy at some point, because the fun comes from just experimenting with weapons and stuff. But the crazy thing about this game is it's going to be the first real test of the next generation.
Yeah,
and I'm so hyped for that.
Yeah, it looks incredible. Like, visually, it's like a Pixar movie, if not like right. It's right up there with what a Pixar movie looks like. I mean, It's incredible.
I remember the one that they released for the PS3, whichever one that was, Ratchet and Clank Future War Lord Explosion Destruction X. I think Tools of Destruction, maybe. I don't know. Either
yeah.
way.
Oh God.
See, right? See, they're just
yeah, tools of
But
destruction. Yeah, something like that.
the one they released for the PS3, I remember that was their tagline. It looks like a Pixar movie. So I'm gonna say they've exceeded that now.
Yeah,
Because Insomniac Games came out and said this is the best looking game they've ever worked on, point blank period, by a huge margin. And that's saying a lot looking at their roster of stuff they've come out with. Especially, the Ratchet and Clank games. And I think visually, I don't think we're going to be fully ready for what this game can do running at 60 frames, true 4K and all that. Like, everyone, we all, drooled over Spider-Man, and I think it's going to blow that out of the water.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a PS5 already, right?
Yes, sir. Thank God.
I'm like, it's like, so I haven't really been chasing one in a while. Like, I didn't chase one in the beginning when it came out, and until, like, as of late, when I found out my wife was trying to get me one for my birthday, then I was like, okay, it's time to start trying to get one. And after seeing, I got the tracker website. I'm like trying to sit in the queue, but because I'm usually at work, it's kind of hard. But and then seeing this trailer, now I'm just like, the gameplay trailer, I was like, oh God, I need this, because there's just a few games on my list that are PlayStation 5 exclusives that I'm dying to play. And now I'm at 3 with Demon Souls, Ratchet and Clank, and Returnal. I'm like dying to get this console now because I need these games.
Oh, most definitely. And so apparently I was reading some stuff that, people that are in the know that have access to the game, probably just people at the studio or whatever, letting other people know, is that this game is going to take advantage of the processing power that everything from lighting, particle effects, to when you're actually jumping through the rifts to other dimensions and how things change. They say it happens so seamlessly. Like, you hear the term a lot, oh, we couldn't do this in the previous generation before. Like, I think it's just a tagline. I think they say that, but they don't really mean it. It's more like, it's what they're really saying. It's easier now to do than it was to do back then. Maybe we could have done it, but it would have been like, PS3 like wheezing to death or something like that.
Yeah, it's like Cyberpunk. We shouldn't have done this on the previous console.
Yes, that exactly. They don't mean it in the Cyberpunk way where like this will explode the previous console. But what they're saying is, what they're getting at is that what this game does literally wouldn't have been possible, point blank period. Not from the visual standpoint, but from the technical standpoint as well. And I think that's what gets me excited the most, because I feel like, we reached a point where we can make games look prettier, and I'm pretty sure they'll look amazing. My jaw will drop like when I played Journey for the first time. But I feel like we haven't had a legit technical upgrade in gaming since the PS3 era. Honestly, that's how I feel. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a game that's going to prove me wrong that was on the PS4 and Xbox One. But I feel like we never had that technical leap. And I feel like Ratchet and Clank is going to show us something that is going to be like, there's so much going on. There's so much doing, the dual sense and the things on screen. And so like, I literally am like, I want to see what that's like.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for something like that. Like, so the last time I felt anything like that was Half-Life 2. Anytime I felt like, when I really felt that jump of, wow, this game is doing something really special and really different. And I haven't felt anything since then. And I thought I almost did with Cyberpunk, because I started up Cyberpunk and I had that intro, like, kind of, it's that part where you're and it's not really a spoiler, but like you find that girl in like that tub, and you're picking up her body and you're taking it out to the balcony.
I was like the first real mission, right?
The first real mission, yeah. And it's just that sense of like, you're on this balcony and that like ambulance flies in or hovers in, and they're like pointing the gun at you, and you're like backing up, and they're like picking her. Like, it's just this weird sense right there of like, wow, this I'm experiencing a movie right now. And it felt so different. And then after that part was over and I started playing a little bit more, I'm like, oh wow, this is just like Fallout now. Like, this is just Fallout. So that it wore off so quick, and I really thought it was going to be more than that, and it just wasn't. So I'm still not done with it. I just decided to wait for like all the patches and updates to come out, so I just put it aside. But from what I did play, I played a few more hours of it. I just felt like man, this really wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. Where Half-Life 2 just kept going and going and being this experience that just kept building on something new that I've never seen before. And I think they can do something like that with the new generation of consoles. It's just a matter of like letting go of the previous generation and committing to building on what the technology that they have. It's holding them back.
Completely 100% agree. As consumer friendly as it is for, you know, a lot of these games to be cross gen.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I forget what their exact quote was or what they said, but I know Microsoft and Sony are both in agreement that, you know, for the foreseeable future, I think, you know, till the end of like 2022, most games, you know, however you want to rate that, will be cross gen.
Yeah.
Which AKA means not next gen.
Yeah, it's a tough. I mean, I think if you're a developer, right, and you're not first party, I think it's kind of a scary situation to be in where it's like we want to put our game on both generations because we have to sell. Because if we don't sell well and we don't, you know, bring in the money, we might get closed or we might not have enough money to make our next game. So you can't really commit to just the new generation of console, right? And I think that's a scary spot to be in for them. So it's understandable, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, as a consumer, I don't think we, you know, need to stick up for the companies, right? We should demand, you know, if we're spending our money on these new consoles, we should want them to only make games for these new consoles. And them as a company should, you know, be like, hey, we have these new consoles, let's make new experiences for them. But they're also at the top salesmen and they want money. And so it's just this crazy like stack of people that are put in hard places.
Yeah, but like kind of like Cyberpunk and so many other games that we could just list and name. Legit, you know, I'm pretty sure the intent was these games are going to be out before next gen. And a lot of games didn't make that mark. And then, you know, COVID happened and that sure as hell didn't help nobody.
Nope.
And, you know, and I think a lot of games got a bad rep because we're in next gen, but they release so like, we pick on Cyberpunk a lot because it's the easy target, but you know, a lot of games fall in this category, like Avengers, which honestly, like Avengers, I think there's a good game there and it could be fun to be had. But overall, I just feel like unless you like, to me, I feel like there's no middle of the pack with Avengers. You just have to really love the game for what it's worth. And if you don't just truly love it, then you don't like it. Like I haven't seen any middle of the ground opinions for Avenger. And most people seem to be on the negative side more so than the positive. But I also feel like that's a game that suffered from, you know, in between gen, like it should have spent more time in the oven, but at the same time, it's like every day that it doesn't come out is, you know, a mark against it, so to speak.
Yeah. I think Avengers should have taken more of the route of Outriders and been less of a games of service and more of like a Diablo-esque style of game and more like there is an end. If you want to grind for loot, you can, but it's not necessary. Like you can play through the game, get to the end and be done. Because I think Outriders was really smart about it. A lot of people were afraid that it was going to be this games of a service and it's going to be another one of these and there's no time, there's no room for it, but it's killing it. It's crushing right now. And that's because once people got in and realized this isn't a games of a service, this is more like, I would compare it more to like Borderlands and Diablo. Like you go in, you play the game, you're not really looking, like you don't have to join up with friends and grind loot. You can just play it
and just have fun.
Have fun. That's what like I got onto it and at first I was like, the story's kind of not great and the characters are kind of meh and the shooting feels weird, but also I'm also not used to an Xbox controller because I'm playing it on Game Pass. But then the more I played, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to like the story. The characters are kind of growing on me, and I'm really loving the action in the game. And I'm starting to pick it up again and really enjoy it. And then a lot of it's just because like the game, you can cater it to yourself. and you get out of it what you want. You don't have to like, oh man, if I want to get through this game or to this level, I have to grind to this power level and then to get to this mission, like kind of like a game like Destiny's like that and stuff like that. So I think they were really smart about it.
You know, it's funny you say Destiny because this is also one of my Odell hot takes, but I really don't think it is, but people are going to tell me it is anyway. Destiny is more the exception to the rule than the standard. And what I mean by that is I think the Destiny model, games of service model in general, is a bad model. Point blank, period. Like, I don't like it. I think it's bad for games as a whole. Me personally. With that said, I know Destiny found its, you know, its calling, its fan base and stuff. People love Destiny. People love Destiny 2. I still just can't get behind that game model of like, oh, I'm level locked and now I gotta repeat the same dungeon over and over again. Like, that's just not fun for me. It's not, like, even with friends I love, like, it's just not fun for me. And then I think people saw the success of Destiny and thought this could work. This model is good. But again, Destiny wasn't the golden standard. It was just the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
And I think, I guess developers are finding that out, or maybe we're all finding out collectively that that was the case. If you try to model a game like Destiny, it will probably be bad. You know, a la Avengers and crap. What was the? Forgive me for saying failure because I know people wanted this game, but the game where you're like in the Iron Man suit.
Anthem.
Anthem. There we go.
I liked Anthem too.
Yeah, you know,
I was so sad to see it fail. I was like, I loved Anthem.
Yeah, you know, Anthem, because you know, it again tried to be like a Destiny-like game, or you know, a games of service. And I'm using Destiny because let's be real, like that's kind of what you model. It's like once Apex was a huge success, most free-to-play games or free-to-play battle royales were like, hey, do it like this. Do it like this. Don't be exactly like Apex, but be Apex.
Yeah.
And you can see that because in Call of Duty's Battle Royale, like if you look at it, it really ain't copying Fortnite. It really ain't copying PUBG.
Yeah.
I mean, some people may not like to hear that, but I promise you, play 2 hours of Apex and then go play Warzone and tell me you don't see all the similarities.
Yeah.
I mean, the only
it's
thing
smart.
You're missing, yeah. But I'm not hating on it because Apex, it perfected it and, did it. But unlike the Destiny thing, Apex isn't like an exception to the rule. It became a golden standard for, how to have queues without talking to people, all the right stuff. And honestly, to this day, I'm amazed at Destiny's success. Because, we've had how many scandals, like it went to the Supreme Court at some point, right, about loot boxes and gambling and all that. And, generically speaking here, people tend to hate that practice now. Like, I remember people were hating on Genshin Impact. It's a gotcha game. So people are like, oh, it's just really just want you to loot box and, spend money. But I'm like, but Destiny does the same thing. But again, I think it's the exception to the rule.
I saw on Twitter earlier today, there was a news story about some guy that was arrested for attempting to assassinate the Genshin Impact developers.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, talk about that.
Yeah, it's gosh, I wish I would have read more into it, but I think it was in Japan that he got arrested for, I think it was planning to assassinate them or attempting to assassinate them, but he must have gotten some really bad wishes. He must have gotten nothing but like level 1-star or level 2-star bow and arrows, because that's all I ever get when I play that.
I gave I gave Genshin Impact a try when it was still not new, but like the whispers started to get the whispers started to turn to roars. So I was like, whoa, let me check this out. See what it's like, see if it's all good and all that. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. It looks like Breath of the Wild. That's great. Big roam in the area. And I couldn't get into it, man. Like once I found out the system of like, the gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How do you pronounce that? Gotcha.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. System. I was like, so people made it seem to me like, after a few hours, you get like some epic rolls and wishes, and I was like, bro, I'm just getting like level 1 and 2 stuff, and everything keeps fucking killing me, and I wasn't having fun.
Yeah. It's so I've played enough of it to like get to a point where I'm starting to enjoy it, but I play it very rarely, and it's kind of on and off. It took me waiting for them to fix the controller configuration on PC to where if you plug in a DualShock 4, it plays like a normal RPG and not weird. And the basically the way it works is like once you do get enough wishes to upgrade your weapons, because really what you want to do is upgrade your weapons to be higher level, and then those help you big time. And I just like watched one video where it's like, well, the biggest tip is to go find all the teleport areas, and then from there you just want to do the story missions as much as you can. And it's just like, okay, so it's like a normal RPG. But once I got in the groove of it, I did start to enjoy it, and then I'm just like, well, I'm gonna take a break and play real games.
Ooh, harsh words, man.
Yeah.
People are gonna be coming for you now. You know, honestly,
Probably.
I didn't mind Piedmon, that's how you say her name.
Oh yeah.
Like apparently, like the community hates her for whatever reason. I didn't mind her.
She's all right.
Yeah,
She's
you know,
all right.
I'm starting to think like maybe I'm a gaming hipster. Like I hate everything everyone loves, and I love the things everyone hates. I don't.
Now you sound like Ben. You know, I did want to say for Destiny, because I was someone who I put probably thousands of hours, well, not thousands, but hundreds of hours into Destiny 1. And then Destiny 2 came out and I like dropped it. I was like, I can't do this. This game sucks. And I recently, like maybe as early as January, maybe like February of this year, decided to come back to it because I got a new gaming PC, and I was like, you know, my friend plays it, my cousin wants to play, so I might as well pick it up. And then Steam gave me a sign, and they put the Legendary Edition on like half off, so I was like, oh, perfect time, I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna get back in. And I play it very casually, and it's enough. Like I am almost like fully geared just playing multiplayer and enjoying that, and I play a mission every now and then. I'm not really grinding, I'm not really doing like repetitive missions. I'm just I did like when I bought the Legendary Edition, it came with the new season pass that's active, and I just play the events. I do the dailies like that's on there to get my rewards, and I enjoy the multiplayer. And it's like, wow, I'm like kind of caught up. And then I just check in every now and then when my cousin and my friend want to play, and I feel bad because we had Carlos from Game Fanatics and But Why Though podcast on the show, and I talked to him about it, and then he downloaded it on Game Pass and started playing it. I was like, I'm sorry, Carlos. But it's just been so fun like getting back into it, because it is still one of the best shooters that you can play. Feels so good. But I think if you play some games casually and you don't let yourself get back into like what sucked you in the first place and caused you to hate the game after a while, you can find a very casual like place for yourself. And that's kind of what I've done with that. Also, because I just don't have the amount of hours I could sink into it. Because if I did, I would.
That's fair. That's for, you know, I was talking to someone, you know, as you get older, or I mean, not even maybe get older, just life in general. Like, for example, we all have our games that we sink hundreds of hours into. And those are like 2 to 3 tops, and everything else has to be, you know, casual, small potatoes. Like,
Yeah.
I love Apex Legends, and there was a point where I was really getting into it heavy. But now that's my casual game. It's not that I don't love it, I don't want to play it more. It's just like there's other things I just have to play.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's become my golf game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll do business over Apex, and you know, I'll play with friends on the weekends and stuff. But real quick, so I looked up the article.
Oh, awesome.
So the guy, the Shanghai police has arrested the individual. So he got into the MiHoYo headquarters in Shanghai.
Wow.
And so he infiltrated, per this article by GameSpot, had a knife, and was, you know, he was ready. He was ready to take out the studio founders. So he was found, apprehended, all that good stuff. And they say they don't know what his motivation was. If it was because excuse me. That sneeze.
Bless
Sorry.
you.
Thank you. They don't know if it was because the introduction or the removal of the DLC.
Ow.
Yeah. A fan backlash that complained of the content being disrespectful to China and the character that costume was meant with resulted in it being removed. So apparently that was a costume, I guess a little too revealing for the Chinese market, and that was removed. And he wasn't having none of that.
Wow.
He said she better take it off or he gonna take you out.
Wow.
That joke was not in good taste, but I said it as I thought it. But
my God.
no one was hurt. But that is wild. That is
man.
Wild, man.
I mean, I wonder if they look up how much money he's put into the game, like just the amount. He's got to be like one of those guys that's put in like hundreds of dollars.
I guess so. I don't know, man.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. But
people are nuts.
So moving on, we've talked about. I guess the theme of this week's show is upgrading. So I wanted to talk about this last week actually, but it was the special episode. So but I didn't want to lose this topic. So Xcloud is officially in beta. It's on your phone, your tablets, your mobile browsers, pretty much anything that connects to the internet, more or less. And so, you can take your MLB The Show actually online. Because if you remember a couple years back, MLB The Show was mobile with the PSP, and it was bad. It didn't really work anyway. So now you can play all your Game Pass games, more or less, all your Xbox One games, more or less, because, I don't think it's every game. I think some games aren't on the Xcloud. So I'm gonna say more or less. And
yeah, they have to do like so how they do like coming to Game Pass console, and then they do like Game Pass PC, and then they do like Game Pass cloud streaming or something like that. So I think you have to wait for like each of those updates now.
There we go. And so okay, before I go on, this has always confused me. What is like Xcloud mobile web browser? I'm like, how's it any different than me playing my Xbox games on my PC? Granted, yes, I download an app and the app is on my PC, but I'm like, what situation where you just need a web browser like that? I know I'm sure one exists, Joel, but can you help me?
Yeah.
I'm just like, when would I ever use the web browser and just not the Game Pass app for Windows?
So I'm wondering if it's kind of like, so if you don't have your gaming PC, maybe you kind of pull it up like Stadia and you play it that way. Like if you just have like a laptop that's not really made for gaming, if you pull it up through a web browser like that, and then the Game Pass one is more for like how I use my gaming PC, I use Game Pass Ultimate on it. I think, I don't know. I completely ignored it for the longest time because it wasn't coming to iOS. And then they announced it was coming. They're like working to get it on iOS. And then I was like, oh, all right, now I'm in.
Now we're cooking.
Yeah,
man. So it's in beta. I believe it's currently in beta on iOS right now. Like you can do it right now and be like, yeah. I don't think it's because I know they had clearly like people who review it and stuff. I think you could just. I don't know if you could sign up for the beta and have to be picked, or is it just like a free for all? Just sign up and you're good to go.
I think it's
the latter.
I think it's invite right now because I know I saw on Twitter was it Paris? It was either Paris or Khalif. One of them didn't get in. And I remember because I saw Danny underneath them making fun of him, and because I always watch like their Twitter beefs, and it's always really funny.
It is
and I know, yeah. And one of them didn't get in, so the other one put a GIF under there. So. But I think it's invite only right now. And because I went to the site and I was like, can I get in? Can I get in? Can I get in? I didn't see anywhere where I could sign up for an invite because I really wanted to try it. Because I'm very interested in it just for my own greedy purposes. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no. Finish your thought. My bad.
I think it's weird because initially I wasn't interested in it because like, I don't know. What am I going to play on this thing? Like Halo? No, I don't really like Halo. I find it boring, which is gonna piss a lot of people off.
That's a fair opinion. People, that is a fair opinion. I don't care what no one says.
You know, it might have been fun a long time ago, but I find it boring now. I can't play Gears on a phone. I mean, a lot of people really like showing off that backbone controller thing. Everyone's really excited about like I can play on mobile, and it's like, what am I gonna carry this thing around with me now? I'm gonna walk around with a controller, or like, am I gonna sit at home and play on this thing when I have my console and my computer? Like, it's weird positioning when people do that. Like, a lot of people really like showing that, but realistically, are we gonna be out and about with this backbone on, in our pockets? No. No, I don't think so.
They call me harsh, but I think you were surpassing me in the show, so thank you. But no, I was going to say exactly what you're saying. Okay, with the Switch, yes, the Switch proved that we love gaming on the go. This is amazing. I want to take games everywhere. But the Switch fundamentally was designed to be something you can take on the go and want to play on the go. Kudos to Nintendo. My phone, my tablet, they're not designed with that in mind. Yes, they're designed to be on the go, but not for gaming. Not for gaming in that sense. Like, yes, like you said, I'm not about to put a backbone in my, like, no. I'm not going to get on the train or plane, be like, what's up, ladies? Put my phone in it and be like, first of all, again, the Switch is perfectly compact yet still big enough. My phone is not. My phone does not have a screen that I will feel confident playing any game on of that nature. Like the people, like I believe the numbers came out and most people play Genshin Impact on their phone, and I'm like, how?
Yeah, I do have it. I do have it on my phone, but I never play it. I just keep it updated, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sit here and play it, and then I don't end up playing it.
Yeah, and then here's the thing. I don't know if there's a phone or tablet that claims to be gaming optimized. I probably think there is, but I don't think there one that truly is. I might just say that for selling purposes.
Yeah.
And okay, this may sound weird, but I think it's more novelty than practical.
Yeah. I mean, true. I just think like games that need a controller to me aren't gonna work unless you do want to sit in your bed on the couch. You don't feel like turning on your console, you're watching TV, something like that, something that you would use a Switch for, right? Suddenly you're replacing your Switch with this thing you're going to have on your phone. To me, that's not ideal because like, yeah, it's Xbox games and not Switch games. So maybe that's like the caveat to that. But I could see myself playing like Octopath Traveler with touch controls or many other RPGs that I've been wanting to play, but anything action oriented without a controller, I don't see myself really doing, and I don't really see myself buying another attachment for an Xbox controller to put on my phone to have with me around the house or to take with me on the go. It's perfect if you're traveling, I think, maybe if you're going to go somewhere with good internet. I think because it's packed in with Game Pass Ultimate, that's a bonus. So it's this cool thing that I think a lot of people aren't going to use.
Yeah. And I think it does have people. I do think it is practical in the sense, like, for example, I'm traveling out the country, another state. Oh, cool. I can have my laptop and like keep playing Halo Infinite or whatever Xbox game I'm currently playing. I just have to pack my controller. That's a win-win to me. I mean, granted, I'm probably going to be wherever I'm staying, hotel, Airbnb, friend's house. They're going to probably have to have pretty decent internet. But in most modern cities, if you're going to like the backwoods country, good luck. But so here's the problem I have. So it has to be a laptop, maybe a tablet. Tablets are getting sophisticated.
Yeah.
But here's the problem that I think with tablet and phones are. Tablets and phones are geared for multifunctioning things. And I could never play a game on my phone for the same reason I play most games on my phones. I'm going to get calls. I'm going to get texts. I'm going to get messages. I'm going to get emails. I'm going to get notifications. And that, to me, that's really hard. Like, I can't be like, oh, cutscene, really, dun, 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 phone call. and all the other things that's gonna happen on my mobile devices.
See, you're too nice to people. You need to just ignore everybody and do what I do. Like, I play League of Legends Wild Rift on my phone, and if I get a text, who cares? I'm in the middle of a match. You can wait. That's what a text is for. Nobody calls me. Perfect.
Except spam likely.
Scam most likely, or it's just silenced, or it's like on do not disturb, usually throughout most of the day, because for some reason I set it even on weekends to just be do not disturb for my work hours. And all my emails are generally junk. So it's perfect. It's all usually like discount codes for like, hey, do you want to buy this game? Like, no. So I mean, I think it's perfect for some people. I think it's I'm just happy it's coming to iOS just so I have the option to try stuff out, right?
Yeah. And I think the real important thing is, you already said this, you hit the nail on the head. It's packed in. It's not something you have to seek out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And unlike Stadia and Luna, which was a fail to launch, like, I don't know what the hell happened to Luna. Sorry, Amazon, but it works. It works. And I feel like for something like that, I think it works is really all it needs to do.
Yeah.
Like, whether you use it or not, it works. It's just like, there's never nothing wrong with more options, especially when those options already come with something you're already paying for.
Yeah. I think to me, Xbox is so, like, I've been thinking about it lately. Just like, man, Xbox is doing all these great things. And they really are. Like, everyone keeps saying like it's the greatest deal in gaming for like, Game Pass. And it's like, yes, we're tired of hearing that. They remind me a lot of Instagram and like what Facebook does with Instagram, right? Like, Snapchat came out. So Instagram copied what they do with the stories, right? With the Insta stories. Facebook Messenger, it's like, oh, we're going to copy that. We're going to use that too. And then, we have Vine or whatever, the videos, or TikTok, whatever. Yeah. Now they're doing that. And it's just like anything that people come up with, they're doing. And so when you think about like Game Pass, right? They not that they're stealing everything, but like Sony started with PS Now, and they're like, we're going to take that, but we're going to make it better. And then, Stadia came out with their streaming, and now Xbox is doing it better. They even took MLB The Show. I mean, they're just going. They're just taking, but they're doing it better.
Oh, cool.
They're doing it better.
How can you be mad at them when they're doing it better than the originators? Like,
yeah,
like, why am I gonna be like, oh, I'm on Stadia's side? You just stole Stadia, but Stadia doesn't work and has 0 games.
You know how good they are? They're doing it so good. They're like, oh, what? You don't have our new console? You don't need it. We're putting it on PC.
Bro, I told people. So I'm one of those people, you hear the story a lot. My Xbox One is collecting dust. It, like, literally, before Ori and the Will of the Wisp came out, I think the console probably went well over a year without being turned on. I'm not even kidding. That's not an exaggeration. I think the Xbox One went a full 365 without being turned on. It was in sleep mode, so it maybe auto updated itself and stuff, but I didn't physically power it up.
Yeah.
And so Ori and the Will of the Wisp came out. Great game. Magnifique. And I remember thinking, I was like, okay, I'm a fiscally responsible adult. I can't realistically keep buying 2 consoles at launch. That's just a lot of money. And especially if I'm not going to really start having games until 2-3 years into it. PS5 was different because we already knew it was coming to PS5. Like, it was kind of hard to get, and I was having a little FOMO. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do my best to get it now. But when Xbox said all our Xbox Series X games are going to be on Game Pass, you just play them on your computer, I'm like, I have a gaming PC. Boom, done deal. Thank you, Microsoft. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will not be buying a new machine, but because you gave me the option not to. Because realistically, I'm gonna be real. Like, I'm probably gonna get Halo Infinite. Just, we're gamers, we're journalists. We gotta see what's up. I'm gonna get Psychonauts 2. And that's kind of where I'm at on the Xbox titles.
Yeah. And then whatever Bethesda stuff comes out eventually.
Oh yeah.
Someday.
Which will probably be day one Game Passes anyway. So
yeah.
But yeah, I like your analogy with Instagram, but they just take everything everyone else is doing but do it better.
Yeah.
But they can't touch Nintendo, sadly, because they got their stuff under like lock and key.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty comparable, I think. But Xbox, they do so much good, but now they can't do anything bad. So that's the problem they're running into. Where Sony can do plenty bad, and they still don't get really that much. They very rarely get shit on for anything. Like right now, they're getting a lot of like boo and like, oh, Sony, your messaging sucks. But then they'll be like, God of War, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, cool.
And Nintendo's like the firstborn that really ain't doing nothing with their lives right now, but they're the firstborn and can do no wrong, and the precious baby.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I think that's the problem. I think at some point we all need to like get mad at Nintendo, but like a unified front, and then maybe no, that'll never happen.
Well, if they ever just announce that they've canceled Metroid Prime 4.
There will be blood. there will be blood, and these streets will run red.
Yeah.
With blood in my tears from crying myself to sleep.
Right. I've cried too many nights.
But people, that's the end of our show for this week. It's been fun. I learned some new things, like someone was about to kill the Genshin Impact developers. That's
crazy?
Yeah, that's insane. That was my surprise of the week right there. I'm like, how did I not hear about this? But thank you, Joel, for joining me this week. I greatly appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, always. And real quick, where can the people find you, see what you're doing, interact with you?
Yeah, you can just follow me on Twitter at the Joelness. You can find me on the Final Checkpoint podcast, which is on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. It's at thegamefanatics.com where all the links are at. You can click on there, find us there. Also, you can find me on twitch.tv/loadlesscheckpoint. We actually just hit a follower goal there. So on May 15th, Ben and I are going to be drinking and playing Dark Souls 3 co-op. So we're going to get drunk and play that. So it's going to be really fun.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was quite the build-up.
The reason y'all should follow the Final Checkpoint is because we share the same initials with them. FCP.
Yeah, we do.
Someone pointed that out to me recently, and I was like, "What?"
We do, because I abbreviated one of our files. I think when we used to have the file drop, and one of your old files was in there from like a long time ago. I think when it was the clip that goes on Instagram, the like audio clip, and I was like, "That's not ours," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. We have the same initials." That's so funny.
Yeah, it's crazy. But people, again, always I'm at Harmon Jr. You can follow the show at Full Circle Podcast on Twitter. And, if you like it, we do have a Patreon. You can donate. Go to patreon.com, Full Circle Productions. And I want to thank the Patreons. We have a new one this week. So shout out to Gabriel Cleveland. And appreciate that, my friend. So, and we got Gabriel Garcia, Rachel Coleman, Baked Rice, and Ryan Frazier.
Woo!
So, shout out to all those people. But like I say, you can like, share, subscribe for free, people. So go ahead and do that. Ring that bell. Click that notification. I don't know. We're on YouTube at the Game Fanatics as well. So do whatever you gotta do. You can do that for free. You ain't gotta give me no money. I'll be happy with that. But it's true. But people, I hope you're enjoying your day. And as always, have a great week and be blessed. Until next time, bye.
Bye.